Hello and welcome back to Emma's Crafty Space. Today I'm going to be working with this suite. Well, part of it really is a flower for every season in that it covers every single season. Whenever you first open up the page, all you can see is all our beautiful new in colours. So Stampin' Up has really exhausted all the in colours in this suite and really brought them to life. There's a lot in it. There is a punch bundle. And then with this wee bundle, then you also have your wee shaker jar domes as well, so it means then you can fill them with whatever you want. And even if you don't want to go down that route, you can still use the stamped images for the jars. A little bit of balmy blue around these little etched lines will give it a kind of water etched look or glass look about it. Obviously if you like colouring in, and this here suite is very much up your street. It's going to be the Celebrate Sunflowers that I'm going to be working with today. Again, the sentiments are really lovely and I really love the fonts. I really like the mixture of the fonts. It's like kind of typewriter with a scripted font that I really like in it. And then you've got your images which then correlate to matching dies. There's also the greenery embossing folders that would really complement this suite as well. And they've also suggested that the Tasteful Textures 3D embossing folder will complement it as well. So you can see there is quite a lot in this suite. It is, I kind of call it a mega suite because there is designer series paper, you've got blends as well that come into it, you've got ribbons, you've got gems, you've got the mason jar shaker domes, which are these wee things. Then you've got the memories and more cards and envelopes, you've got the memories and more card pack, then you've got obviously your stamp bundles with your punch and dies matching in there too. So it really is a very extensive suite, and I really do think you would get a lot of mileage out of it. So the project that I'm going to show you is this little guy here, and the original tutorial is from Sam Donald from Poodles. So this is where I originally got the box idea from, so we'll just dive straight in and get making it. So you are going to need your scoreboard for this. This is the DSP that I've decided to use. So I'll just give you a quick flick of the DSPs just to see, so you can see how lovely they are. And it really does showcase all our lovely in colours. You can see them there. So, and you can, like there's Princesses for Christmas, you know, you really can see that they have catered for all the seasons. So back to our project. This is a sheet of DSP that I've decided to use. So on this side here, so I want my box to be the design running this way, so I start with the orientation to this side. Okay, so your first score line, and because it's paper, I'm going to use the plumper end of my score tool. So you're going to score at 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, and 5 1/2. Okay, then I'm going to turn this, slot it up in there, and we're going to score at 1 inch, and we're going to score at 4 inches, and we're going to score at 4 1/2. Okay, so it's a bit hard to see the score lines because the paper is quite busy, so we'll just take our scoreboard away. Now, I have done a bit of a kind of guide piece on craft paper, just so that I know that whenever I set that down there, I know what pieces I have to take away. So it would be a good idea to make yourself a template. As I say, I use craft card because it's really thick and durable. It means I can tuck it away and I know nothing's going to really happen to it. But it just means then you can set that down and you know exactly where you need to take all these bits out, just so that you know that you're not cutting into sections that you do need. So I'm going to just take this wee one away first. So this is, if you can imagine, this is going to be where our bag's going to close up. So I'm wedging it at the same time. Just Go straight down there. Okay, so this part here that I'm cutting now, this is our lid and our closure. We're going to go down there. And then we're going to go down, so you can see there's a score line here and there's a score line here. We're going to go straight across there. And then what I'll do is I'll set my template over it again just to make sure that I've got all the pieces away that I need away. Okay. Now you can see I've also corner rounded these. It's just to kind of give it a bit of a softer finish whenever you're making your little closure. Okay, so that is basically our bag kind of cut and scored everywhere I need. So now you need to do your score lines. So don't go mad on it, because obviously it is just DSP and you don't want to be completely breaking the fibers completely. Okay, so now we are going to cut up the bottom so that we can get the bag put together. So straight up. Up to you if you want to wedge these in. I personally don't think there's any need to on this kind of project, but again, it is up to you if you want to do that. So a little bit of your wet glue, or you could use snail or double-sided tape. Bring this over, just line it all up, make sure it's all matching. Okay, just hold it a wee second. Okay, and then put your two side bits in. Again, if you want to put a bit of glue on it, it's absolutely fine. I would do your back first because you just want to have nice neat lines at the front of the bag. Again, a bit of glue around there and just hold that. Okay, so you can then use your bone folder down to the very bottom and make sure your glue is all adhered to the paper. Okay. So the next step is you are going to squeeze this part in like that. And not all the way to the bottom. So that is why whenever you're making this, you maybe think, oh, that's deep, that's deeper than this, but it's because you're going to pinch that in, and then you're just going to let that kind of just let it fall back out into that crease, and then that is basically the way your bag is going to close. So I'm going to use little magnets for mine because I just feel it gives you a nicer closure, and it means that you're not going to damage the paper by constantly having to manipulate it back off from a Velcro pad. So I'm going to put a magnet down first. So I use super glue. Sometimes it can be a bit messy. 9 times out of 10 it works out, but so really just kind of eyeball it. So I'm just going to set the magnet there. And I'll set the magnet down. I'm just going to let it dry. Just make sure when you're that it is caught underneath your paper. Now, whenever you think it's dry and there's no movement in it, you can set this magnet to it. And this is how you get it completely lined up where you need it to be. A wee bit of glue down on the top. Make sure you close up your super glue because it can dry really quickly. And then bring this down. Now just make sure that you have this edge nestled into that crease. And bring it down and just let it sit. So if you just hold it there for a wee second or two, and eventually the super glue will take, and you can just see that's how easy it is just to get it stuck. And it can take a wee minute or two just to get it right, for the super glue to take to the card, but just be patient with it. But I do definitely find it a lot more effective than using the Velcro dots. So we're really nearly finished with our wee project. I already had this wee sunflower already stamped out, so I stamped it in early Expresso. I coloured it in with the blend, so I used the Just Jade light and dark blends and the Daffodil Delight for light and dark for the petals, and then the light and dark soft suede. Couldn't think of the name of it there. So I used it for the center of the sunflower. So you can see around the edges and the center, that is obviously where I've done where it's been darker, because with these stamp sets obviously it is quite easy because Stampin' Up have given us a sketched effect, so it means then you kind of know where you're doing your light and dark shade in that. So the only thing really left is to put a wee sentiment on it and this little flower. So I'm actually going to put the dimensional on the box rather than putting it on the sunflower, so I know exactly where it is going to sit. And I'm just going to do it off the side of the box. Okay. And then the sentiment I am going to use from Itty Bitty Greetings, and it is a little hello. And I'm going to stamp it again in Early Expresso just to tie in with these kind of dark brown tones. Okay. These Itty Bitty Greetings are absolutely fantastic for using just little small one-liners on a card. They fit into the majority of the small punches, and I really do just think they are a real asset to your crafty collection. The punch that I'm going to use is the classic label punch, and again another great asset to your crafty stash because you really can use it for anything. So I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to just kind of do it over to the right hand side so that I can trim it down and it's not too long. Okay, just so I know how much to take off. You can put this on a dimensional as well, but I'm just going to leave it flat. I'm just going to put it on my glue dots. And I'm just going to tuck it in there at an angle. Okay, now if you feel that your little bag is still wanting something else, I know these gems are retired now, but I still really love them. They were originally from Rooted in Nature or Nature's Roots Suite, but I do like the black rhinestones in them, so you can add them maybe to the center of your sunflower just to give them that little bit of extra sparkle. You can see. Or you can just leave it plain, but there is some gemstones with this suite, so you could put some of the cinnamon cider gems into it, you know, it would match the center of the sunflower. And that is your little bag finish. As I say, this bag was originally one of Pootle's or Sam Donald's bags, so all credit to her for the tutorial for the bag. I'll put her tutorial in the description. This is another one that I've just done with one using some of the other DSPs. This was before I had the Just Jade blends, so you can see I do think it makes a bit of a difference having the greens all matching, whereas that one there I think was Old Olive. So I'm just going to show you some other wee projects that I have made using this suite. Of course you've already seen this, it was one of my previous tutorials. It had a stand as well, so it means then whenever whoever receives it, they can have it sitting up rather than lying down flat. There is this wee one. So this one was I actually stamped the original sunflower, which is Bumblebee, in the background. Just die cut the skeletons of the petals and set it down on top, and then just obviously a circle stitch die, and then again same effect with our little sunflowers. I've just added it, and I added some of the black rhinestones. This one was really simple. It was the wood grain embossing folder, and that is actually one sunflower die, but I cut it in half, just staggered it down the side there, added a couple of leaves, and I stamped the sentiment on flat again. You could have added a tag, I didn't. I just left it completely flat, just so that the flowers and the rhinestones and the leaves obviously were doing the talking rather than the sentiment being the focal point. This one I thought I would have a go at trying to make the sunflower look like a big giant pink gerbera. So I white heat embossed it onto watercolor paper, and then that is a magnificent magenta watercolored into it then with the bumblebee center. That's two of the little bumblebee gemstones, And then obviously the Label Me Pretty and Label Me Fancy labels, which I absolutely adore because I just love the way they nest inside each other. I stamped my Sentiment in Early Expresso because I do think it's a wee bit softer than the black Memento. And then the last sample I have to show you is this one. So this is the embossing folder from, I think it could be, so this is the embossing folder from In Good Taste suite. I absolutely love it. Again, I've done another tutorial for 2 wee bags on it. The only thing I did kind of find a bit hard was whenever I stamped the leaves on after I embossed it, so it was hard to get the detail. So I stamped them in Old Olive and then coloured them in light Old Olive blends. Again, there's a couple of your little gems from the in colours and just a little bit of the twine just to kind of finish it off. So that is pretty much it for this tutorial or video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really do hope that you would maybe have a go at making something. Post me a comment and just let me know how you're getting on, and if you need any help with it, just shout out. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll hope to see you again soon. Bye.